Hello, chess chicos, chess chicas. Yesterday, this morning rather, I uploaded 2 YouTube shorts about Rook endgame theory, but I forgot that I needed to edit them for a different resolution because shorts are in a different shape. Long story short, I decided to pull them down, and now I'm uploading, re-recording, re-uploading the content with some additional stuff in a proper YouTube video. So I thought we might as well turn it into a proper one, and let's learn some cool stuff. So on the menu today is a defensive concept that every player, even on club level, should know, because this is a golden opportunity for you to save many half points by knowing this defensive technique. So let's dive right into it. Today we are going to talk about the concept of short side and long side in relation to the passed pawn that we are defending against. I suppose I should turn the board around so that I can demonstrate it correctly with the black pieces, or rather black's point of view. The theory that we are going to discuss today is that relative to the pawn, the side where there are the fewer squares is called the short side, logical, and the side where there are more squares is called the long side. And the most important defensive mechanism slash strategy is that the short side is always occupied by the defensive king, and the long side is the one where the defensive rook should come from. So this is the optimal defensive setup, and indeed if it is black to move, we have got a super easy draw. We check, and you can see that the sideways checks would go on forever, so eventually I would have to start zigzagging my king toward the pesky rook. However, the problem is that the distance is too great, and after king d7, rook check, king c6 check, I can no longer approach the rook, because I would hang the pawn. I can try to be a... Whoa, I forgot to load the position. Wow, okay, that's cool. All right, let's go back again. So I'm gonna load it up now properly. So after the check, I could try, I guess, to be a little bit cute and go here, hoping that now if check, then I can close in on the rook. Two problems here. One, I don't have to do the check, but I actually can, because if we close in on said rook, then after rook e7, now again we see why the big distance is so beneficial. The white king has no time to come back. The rook has to defend, and after king f6 we are going to eat the pawn. This is basic geometry, and the idea is really easy to grasp. Obviously, the greater the distance between our rook and the king when we are checking, the more checks we can give, and the more problematic it is for the king to zigzag its way toward the rook. This is a super easy draw. Now, let's put this in contrast when we misunderstand, or rather misuse, the concept of long side versus short side. You can see that now our king is incorrectly on the long side. I should actually highlight it like this, where there are 4 squares between the pawn. Maybe this is better. Between the pawn and the edge of the board, and there is only 3 here. So the rook should be on this side and the king should be here. But that is not the case, and unfortunately this leads to a very quick defeat, because even if you do go check, now you will see the huge difference. King f6, rook h6 check, king f7, rook h7, and now we have got the vitally important move, king g6, challenging the rook without compromising the situation around the pawn. Of course I can attack it, but now simply the king swings back, attacking the rook, and if I go back, the pawn is good to advance, and this is a super duper easy win for white this time round. So that was simply just me reversing the previous position as far as the kings and the rook's locations were concerned, and the king on the long side, you can see, is a hugely inefficient defender. So it's actually a good idea to learn it by in a way where you compare these two. So king on the short side and rook on the long side, correct. King on the long side, rook on the short side, incorrect, we lose. And to put it in some kind of a context, although I do believe that this is context enough, but I want to show you a very fun position, which I started analyzing already, which looks like this. And if it is black to move, it is a draw indeed. We are threatened with a mate in 1, and we do not have rook checks available. So we are down to 2 legal moves, king e8, king g8. Some find it very comforting that we only have 2 moves, but in another way, it is really depressing or nerve-wracking that we have got only 2 legal moves, because one of them is a draw and the other one loses. And if you know the theory that I just showed you, the choice is really easy to make. So in this position, king g8, moving the king toward the short side is the correct decision, after which holding the draw shouldn't be a problem. Let me show you how it is done. The rook swings all the way to the other side. Now if it was white to move again after the check followed by king f7, there would be issues there. So we need to jump on this opportunity right away to go as far as the king as possible. Now the situation is not quite optimal because we are not on the edge of the board, but note that the gap is big enough, or will be big enough, between rook and pawn, or king in this case when the king starts moving, to keep on checking. So now if white wants to avoid the continuous checks, then I will have to do either a check myself, or then play a move that shields off the checks. Now the point why this is not winnable for white now is because we simply go back with the king to g8, and we are in a waiting stance where white cannot really make progress. If they move to the side, we have check here. And as soon as the rook abandons its position without a check, then we are good to go. And now the checks come from the side. Of course, there is a little bit more of rook ending theory involved here, other than just short side, long side, because after king e7, we must play king g7. But still, the concept remains the same. And that is that our king is on the correct side of the board, and the rook is on the correct side of the board too. And once again, pawn push immediately gets captured. And as soon as the rook moves, I begin the pesky checks. And the long side checking is going to ensure an easy draw for black. Now let's go all the way back, and let's see what happens if I go the other way. This is very, very unfortunate. Now white has got the check, and then white has got rook f8. This is the key move. The idea being that I would like to defend the pawn on f5 so that I can zigzag my king down to f7 without being pestered at all. So for example, if I go rook f1, now the king can just go to g6, allowing this progression of the pawn, and eventually we are going to end up... Did I talk nonsense there? Yes, I did. We need to go here, excuse me, because the point, and that's the big point actually, is that after king here, now f6 is allowed, and in fact encouraged, and that just paves the way for the pawn. So not king g6, because then after king e7, now the rook is on and f6 is not playable. I think it does win too, but let's just be precise. King g7 and then up. So in order to try to somehow build up some defense, you're going to see now that obviously going to the other side is just not tenable. It's just not going to cut it. Simply I can go up, and the rook on the short side is miserable. So we just go like, nah, can't do that. Let's go to the long side. But now you see the problem with the misplaced king being on the long side. You wish it were here. That would be the optimal setup. As it is, I can just go up, and now the rook has no check, and the position is not holdable, and white again is going to easily transition towards a Lucena position by pushing the pawn up, pulling the rook back, giving a check, and distancing the black king. So one more time, king g8 followed by the pesky rook attack on the side, depending on which file the white rook is going to leave available. Easy draw. Once we choose the incorrect side, it is struggle town, and there is no way, Jose, we can win here. By the way, I'm not sure if it was necessary. I think I could have gone king f7 already here. I think I tried to pretty it up unnecessarily, because, yeah, if check, I just go king g6 and the pawn is good to roll again. No dramas whatsoever. So, in fact, it's so bad I didn't even need rook f8. We can scratch that. King g7, king f7, predominantly king f7. Easy win as well. So, yeah, that is such a powerful demonstration, actually, of the idea, because, yeah, this is super easy draw, and this is super easy loss. So, right away... that knowledge put into practice immediately yields results. So keep this in mind, guys. A very basic concept, super useful. Every time you need to pick a side for king and rook when you are defending against one pawn, you should always aim to put your king towards the side where there are fewer squares between the opponent's pawn and the edge of the board, and you should always go as far away as possible to the long side with the defensive rook. And I will once again show it from black's perspective, to be able to hold that so badly desired draw. Yeah, these are the types of things that can save you lots of rating points and actual points in tournaments. So yeah, I hope you found it useful, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will be back with more soon. Please don't forget to sub, to like, to comment. Let's roll that algo. Last video got a fair bit of love, and immediately, by the way, our viewer numbers went drastically up. So please keep up the good work, help me grow the channel, and yeah, I will be back with more soon. Bye.